It took an amateur archaeologist 50 years to plunder it, but now dozens of ancient artifacts are in the government's hands with plans to put them back where they belong. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
Zion, detectives say he desecrated sacred land full of history and culture. Now his 5-decade hobby has finally come to an end. Pots and ladles, arrowheads and shells. Just some of the collection James Ham had built up. Ham was caught here in the Gila in 2008, where he didn't belong. He was digging on ancient Indian land.
It's very widespread.
David Phillips is the archaeological curator at UNM's Maxwell Museum. He says amateur digs like the ones Ham conducted ruin history.
Those are essentially pieces of evidence about the past.
And extremely offensive to Native Americans who view those lands and artifacts as sacred.
These are pieces of people's heritage. And, you know, if someone walked into the National Archives and stole the Declaration of Independence, everybody would be up in arms.
Ham was even brazen enough to steal the signs warning the lands were sacred. Detectives say he kept maps and notes of his digs, which spread across Arizona and New Mexico, including places like Tularosa, Flagstaff, and Cibola Forest. Detectives say Ham's notes claim some of the pieces came from grave sites. The total value of the loot? More than $37,000. While officials say they couldn't prove Ham sold artifacts, Phillips says there's an enormous black market for these types of items.
When you buy prehistoric pots, you encourage people to go out and go dig up more prehistoric pots.
Ham took a plea deal in exchange for turning over all the artifacts he's stolen. He was sentenced to 6 months house arrest. He also paid back $4,500 to the federal government. Diane?
All right, Alex, the feds are now working with tribes across the state to return those artifacts and even rebury some of the loot. Items they cannot return will be put in museums.